Today is one location and I'm just using one lens, which is a standard 50mm. But that's kind of the challenge today, is to try and search out compositions that are going to work with this lens. Welcome everybody to this beautiful foggy morning here. I'm at Bolton Percy Station Nature Reserve near to Tadcaster, and this morning the conditions look just about perfect for what I want to do. Now today I've got just one lens attached to my camera, and I'm kind of feeling, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but a little bit apprehensive because I'm worried that maybe I'll miss out on shots because I haven't got other lenses. And the first thing that struck me today is the spider webs, because they are just everywhere. And at this time of year, if you get the right conditions overnight, you're in a good habitat, you've got a really good chance of getting spider webs. So we're going to get the lens out and see what we can find. I am kind of drawn to the wider shots, even with this lens, just the spider webs and the habitat and just kind of the mixture of everything and the atmosphere, but I'm really struggling to find anything. It's just not working. So what we're going to do is just keep it simple and just go for more close-ups of the spider webs, because I think it's just going to be easier to get good compositions. Everything is just coated in water this morning, it's absolutely perfect. So this spider web is a good candidate. It's nice and big, it's right at the edge of all these plants here, so I don't have to step in and damage things. I'm literally just on the edge of what was an old platform, I think. Now what I've noticed is if I shoot here in this direction, and the background kind of looks okay, but when I took the shots it just doesn't show up. It doesn't show up as well as I thought it would, and that's often the case with spider webs. Often you need a dark background to put them against to really make them stand out. So I found if I come round this way, this gets me shooting towards a hawthorn tree, which is really dark, and that's a much better background. To do this, I also had to get lower down. So this is what the knee pads are for. Try to use the knee pads for these kind of jobs now. So the difficulty with this little bit is trying to get this spider web completely clear is almost impossible, just with all these plant stems around it. So I've had to kind of include that in the shot, and sometimes there's one slightly in front of the spider web, sometimes there's one a little bit behind, and it's just like a bit of a compromise. I'm just doing the best I can. What I've also done is experiment with my angle a little bit, so just to get various compositions. And then I've done one where I still have the spider web against the dark background, but I've actually put it to the left hand side to bring in some of the background mist, which I just think adds a bit more atmosphere. So at the moment I'm just simply hand holding. So I do have the tripod, which I'll probably use a bit later. Very simple shots and nothing too amazing there, but I really like the plants around it, just adding that colour and another shape in there. I think it's really nice. So what I'm going to do now is try and just get in really close on this spider web. Let's make the most of those amazing shapes, all the water droplets that are on there, like a necklace. So this is kind of like a bit like macro photography, but it's not really macro because you can only get so close with this lens. If you go any closer, then it won't allow you to focus, so you can never really do those super macro shots. You need a macro lens. But let's see what we can do. So interestingly, I actually preferred like the wider shots where I was slightly further back. Why is that so bright? Sorry about that. What on earth? Try and bring it down a bit. Yeah, I actually preferred the shots which were further back, showing more of the plant. I just like the colour and the shapes with it, so I actually prefer that shot as opposed to the real close-up. Oh, the conditions are still amazing. The sun is just trying to poke through. Yeah, if you're just getting into like photography more seriously, I think lenses like this are just great because they're so light, they're so compact, they're really easy to carry around. You know, relatively inexpensive. You could pick one of these up, a used one, for less than £100 here in the UK. And the other thing is the 50mm, what we kind of call a standard lens. I think we call it that because it's similar to how your eye sees things, and I think it definitely does. So it kind of gives you a similar view to what you get with your own eye. So maybe that helps as well. You know, if you are newer to photography, you're not quite as sure what a focal length does and how it looks, that the 50mm, you know, is pretty close to your eye, literally. Okay, I found a spiderweb that's in a great position for me. I thought I'd have a look at this buddleia bush to see if we could get something with a bit more colour, and there's a spiderweb that is in a really nice position with one of the flowers of the buddleia, and I think I can get a composition. The difficulty is, again, I've got to try and shoot against the dark background, so even just here for me, if I shoot this, it doesn't want to focus, I'll mention about focusing in a minute. If I shoot here, I'm still kind of looking up towards the sky, and that's no good. So I've literally got to get like as high as I can, which, you know, it'd be nice if I was 6 foot, but I'm not. I don't think I'm going to grow anymore now. So I've got to be like almost on my tippy toes to get this shot. Okay. But I'm working really hard to keep the camera steady. Yeah, it's not amazing. So what I find with the focusing sometimes is if I focus manually on the spiderweb, sometimes it just doesn't look quite sharp in the image, and I found that if I use autofocus, if I'm kind of like at this distance, and probably with this lens, these kind of shots, I find the autofocus seems to be more reliable than my eye. So nothing wrong with kind of mixing it up, trying both, but I would say, you know, if you're someone who's used to manual focusing, then with the spiderwebs, take a few shots on autofocus just to be sure. And this buddleia flower looks absolutely beautiful because it's got so many water droplets on. Obviously it's very colourful. So this is where I'm feeling like a little bit frustrated maybe, because that's a really good macro subject. And if I had the macro lens, I'd be on that, trying to get a nice shot, but I can't really do anything with the 50mm. So we'll go on, see what else we can find. The colour over here is just absolutely stunning, and I think these kind of conditions, they highlight the autumn colour so well sometimes, where you have like this mist and fog, but the sun trying to peek through, and you get this really soft light, almost like a glow sometimes. And that for me, not only does that light look nice, but I feel like it just really brings the colours out. So in this little patch, we've got a buddleia, we've got a tree, we've got bramble, blackberries on there, we've got some plants down here. It's just a real mixture of colour, like the reds, yellows, greens. So there is quite a lot to shoot here. What you'll often find is if you just walk around, you'll see things from a different angle. You might find pictures that you didn't think were there. So just coming around here to this side, these berries, the rose hips, I can get a really nice shot here. I'm kind of shooting towards the path, back towards the mist and the sunrise, and it just seems to instantly look better than most of the other shots. So we are now getting a bit of blue sky. I don't think it'll be long before the sun comes through and it gets too bright for me. Now, I haven't actually used the tripod at all. I brought it with me. I haven't used it once yet. That's just, I've been happy enough, honestly, just hand holding with the 50mm lens and just generally shooting on a wide aperture. My goodness, the light on this is absolutely stunning. It's just my kind of light. It's, was it elderberry? It's like a mixture, kind of yellow and green leaves, some different tones in there. Obviously the berries, but I'm just looking directly towards where the sun is, and the sun's kind of filtering through the trees and all the branches, and just the quality of light in the shade is fantastic. But I don't think I can shoot it with a 50mm lens. I'll try and do something. There might be another shot here as well. But like as a wide angle shot, this would just be fantastic, I think. And potentially you could get that sun as a starburst, but we will see what we can do. Yeah, I mean, instantly what I thought, it's made for a wide angle shot, as you know, to include all those leaves, and you can potentially get that sun, but I can't do this. I can't go any further back, because if I did that, I'd have to go onto the railway track. So all we can do really is go for sections. You know, if you can't get all of the subject that you're after, then just think about, can you kind of home in on it a little bit more? Can you concentrate on little sections? And that's really all I can do. I finally decided to get the tripod out because I think this is worth it, because it's a really nice shot. I want to try and, you know, get everything as sharp as it can be, so I think it's worth the effort. And this is going to be a vertical composition. So I've got my L bracket, it's really helpful for this, so you can just attach your camera straight onto the tripod head. You don't have to turn the head round to get it vertical. Which is helpful. Nettles. I took my handheld shots at a wide aperture, about f5, something like that, just to get them in the bag, and then on the tripod now everything's nice and still, so it doesn't matter as much about shutter speeds. I'll put it on f11, so I'm trying to get like most of those leaves in focus basically. Unbelievably, the light suddenly changed and it just no longer had that glow. The yellow colours weren't leaping out in the same way. So this just goes to show that you really sometimes have to take the shot. Even if everything isn't perfect, you should just try and grab yourself a shot, because you just don't know what will happen. I'm really glad that I took that handheld shot earlier. The colours and the light are so much better. I do feel like I'm missing shots, to be honest, particularly the macro opportunities, because I just can't get close enough with this lens. But there is a sneaky little trick you can use for macro photography, and that's to use one of these, which is an extension tube. So you can put this between your lens, such as a 50mm, that works pretty well, between the lens and the camera, and then that will allow you to focus closer to do some close-up photography. Now, I'm not saying the results will be as good as a dedicated macro lens, that's why they're more expensive, but you can get decent results if you do it right. So I'll put a video up on the screen now which shows you all about how to use extension tubes with a lens in this way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.